So how is it that I save men minimum $10,000 and sometimes $900,000 in their divorce and custody battles? First thing first is we're going to go to Google and ask, what is the average divorce cost in the state of Texas? Now, as you see here, it says without children, it's $15,600 on average. But if you have children, it's $23,500. When guys come to the Rising Man and they sign up at the beginning of their custody battle, they're going to get out for over half than that, meaning it's going to be less than $10,000 for their entire custody case if they start with us from the beginning. Now, I don't want to say that's going to be a guarantee for you. There's tons of different factors in this. So let's dive into this a little bit deeper. So let's do another search into Google and type in, what does a custody battle cost in the United States? Now, this is a big span, $3,000 to $40,000. And what's the difference here? And I'd actually disagree with this. This obviously comes from a LawPages website, but this is also where we are going to save you a ton more money. It's not just going to be $10,000 that we're going to save you, but this is where it could get into $50,000, $200,000, and we're going to save you from massive amounts of tragedy. Let me explain. See, most of the guys that come to my group are already knee deep. They're already screwed over in a custody battle. Their back's against the wall. They have false claims against them. Maybe they went into a hearing that was unprepared, these types of things. They're already trying to breathe underwater and their custody cases are well over $40,000. Now, if you're in that group, if you're one of those guys that's already been screwed, taken to the cleaners, you have lies being made up against you, protective orders, or you have a temporary protective order against you, basically your case is in the ditch, please get in our groups. We are going to help stop this, save you a ton of money, but help with a massive support system that is going to help you be a father again and not lose your mind. I strongly, strongly urge you, look into the Rising Man. It's going to be a small investment for how much it's going to save your life, your family, all these different things. Let's keep going. So this is where things get pretty crazy. The average cost for a divorce with high conflict, the cheapest form, as it says here, is through mediation. Mediation around $6,000, a little bit more than that. But let me tell you, this could go wrong in so many ways. Mediation often doesn't go well the first time, second time, and if it goes to a hearing, this is where it gets to these collaborative law costs, where it says $19,723. But when you get into a full-scale lawsuit, when you can't agree on stuff and it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, this could go wrong in so many ways. We're looking at $77,746. Now, if you're watching this, I know you don't have an extra just $6,000 lying around. I know you definitely don't have an extra $19,000 lying around and definitely not $77,000. And as you're going to see, it actually goes way up from there, especially if you get caught in the traps of the legal system. So if you don't have $6,000, $19,000, $20,000, $18,000, $77,000, $800,000, wouldn't you want to save $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000? This is why we need to learn the court system. This is why we need to learn the laws, guys. I'm telling you very seriously just how important this is. So let me type in, how much does it cost in a high conflict custody battle? And here we're going to get some different numbers. The first thing we see is the same thing that says $3,000 to $40,000, which is basically a snippet from a website from some lawyer's page promoting their divorce and custody stuff. Now, if we start looking deeper, we start seeing things like this. I've seen cases run well over $250,000. But what I've seen in my cases, especially when there are false abuse allegations that go in front of a judge, false abuse allegations that get ruled upon, move into protective orders and so on, man, you're starting at $60,000 and you can go as high as $900,000, even a little bit over that, almost $1 million. And this isn't actually to get custody. This is to defend the criminal or civil charges against you, which are saying you're either a child abuser, child molester, any of these different things. It is nonstop how these things get expensive. Now, before we break down how and why those things get expensive, let's actually look at this. When men come to me with a high conflict custody battle, and it's at the very beginning of their separation, but there's contention, there's false accusations, CPS has not yet gotten involved, or they're getting involved just at the beginning, and there haven't been any rulings. This is where we save guys huge amounts of money. If you're in a CPS case and anything like that, man, you're starting at the $40,000 range. And I'd even say it's very easy that it goes up from there. But if you start at the beginning and no rulings have happened, you haven't had a protective order put in place, or that temporary protective order just started, we are going to save you much more than $10,000 on your case. We're going to do whatever we can to help you learn how to stop it right away with an attorney. And if you're going pro se, man, that's a big risk, but we'll still try and help you with that. You're going to need probably a $5,000 to $7,000 retainer. You're going to need an attorney that specializes in false accusations, personality disorders, all these different types of things. They've hopefully defend false accusations in a court of law, not just had a case where they got thrown out, but they're skilled in understanding how the process works. At this point, we're not just going to save you $10,000. It's going to be $20,000, $30,000. And more importantly, you're going to save yourself the headache of being accused by a court system and end up on a criminal process that has to do with false accusations about child abuse or sexual abuse or these types of things. Now, how this works in the Rising Man is pretty simple. We have 6 calls a week. We have tons of men who have been there and done that, who are going to help you go through the process. This is mentally just so exhausting. You're going to meet with your lawyer. Your lawyer is only going to want to talk to you when there's a case in front of them, meaning that there's a court date set and all these different things. You don't want to run up that bill. You also don't want to waste that lawyer's time with things which aren't important, which are important to you, are important to the breaking apart of your family, the custody battle, and so on, but they may not be relevant to the case, and that's what you want to talk to us about. More importantly, you don't want to waste your time on strategies that don't work. And if you have a bad lawyer, a lawyer that needs to be switched out, we're going to be able to go through that with you and give you our best advice on if you need to change or not. And that is a tough one, but it is a common one. More importantly, we're going to have more experience understanding if this lawyer is legitimate or not, how to press on them, how to get them to work harder, not piss them off, how to understand that if you do need to switch lawyers, you cannot go into court with that lawyer and have them be unprepared in a hearing which is for a temporary protective order, and they don't know how to do the witnesses right, and it gets turned into a permanent protective order, a protective order for 2 years, which means you will not see your kids. You go to jail if you attempt to. You lose your custody case at that point. And you're going to be trying to defend yourself under criminal or civil charges that are saying you're an abuser, which is where you get to the $60,000. At this point, it's math for me. Right now, you could sign up for $500. You could get whatever consultations. We also have lower offering and lower tiers for that. But you could get everything that you need for $500 that when compared to the national average of just non-contentious divorce, it's going to save you $10,000. And the more the contention goes up, the more that we are going to save you. It is the most worth it amount of money that you will spend in this. And not only that, it will save your sanity. It will help you become a better man. It's a group that's going to teach you how to be a better father. It's going to keep you occupied. All these things that come in with it in terms of the mental game, the unrest, the depression, the self-harm, the angry thoughts. We're going to help you with all of that and give you the best support system you could ever want from it. I know of no better way to show you that for paying a small amount of money, you can save yourself from one of the modern male tragedies financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, and it's just going to help you be a better man in the long run, better father in the long run. And it's done with passion, it's done with masculinity, it's done with truth, it's done with integrity. Check it out, see what we have to offer.